Smokin' Hombre chili. Today on Fat Mike's Pit. Hey folks, welcome to the pit. Need something to roll with at your next tailgating party? Nothing hits the spot on a cool fall day better than a hot bowl of Smokin' Hombre chili. Now when it comes to chili, you've got to have plenty of veggies. Without the vegetables, you're not going to get that warm, rich flavor we all expect when we dig into a hot bowl of red. To start, let's chop up some fresh cilantro. This is going to give this chili a nice, bright, and fresh complement to the little bit of spiciness from the peppers and the savory flavor of the tomatoes and beans. As you'll see, I'm not giving much concern to how fine I chop these veggies up. These vegetables will break down as the chili cooks. All right, let's get moving. Now we're going to add some onion, about 4 medium-sized ones. Some plum or Roma tomatoes. 2 of these should do the trick. Now let's get to the peppers. Start off by chopping up 2 red bell peppers. Once again, don't worry about how fine you chop these up. It won't matter in the end. Next, we're going to add a poblano pepper. If you've been watching my videos, you know that folks here at the pit like me to keep the heat down a bit. So I want to make sure I get out as many seeds as possible. If you want it hotter, leave some in. The more seeds, the hotter the chili is going to be. Now we'll do the same thing with an Anaheim chili. Finally, we'll add a jalapeno. I'm going to keep the heat of these in check by de-seeding them and cutting out the veins. Again, you do this according to your taste. Now you just can't have good chili if you don't have some meat. Here I rolled some meatballs made from about 2 pounds of ground chuck mixed with about 1 pound of ground pork. Sear these over hot coals, just enough to get some color on them. This will give some nice smoky grilled flavor to our chili. Get them seared well all around. Next up, I've got about 2 pounds of round steak that I've trimmed all the gristle out of. You can use whatever cut of steak you like, I'm just being cheap. Do these up just like the meatballs. Keep them over the coals just long enough to put a good sear on them and then pull them off. Now cut that steak up into fingertip-sized chunks and we'll get them into our pot. Okay, here's our pot. I'm using a ceramic-coated steel pot to make this chili. Cast iron works even better. If all you've got is an aluminum pot, you can use that. Just make sure that the pot is either ceramic coated or anodized. This recipe has tomatoes in it, which are acidic. If you cook this in a plain aluminum pot, the metal will leach into the chili and ruin the flavor. Now let's break up these meatballs. Here we're going to add about 1 quart of chili beans. About 1 quart of diced tomatoes. And 1 quart of crushed tomatoes. Mix this up well and then we'll add 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Now let's get those veggies in there. and give it another good mix before we fire up this gas burner and get this cooking. This has been simmering for an hour now. You should smell this chili. Now we're going to add a little more flavor here. I've got 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, and 2 tablespoons of paprika. Mix these in and we'll be back in about an hour. Okay, we're halfway through this, and now I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of cayenne pepper. Mix it in and let this cook for another hour and a half. After 3 hours, this Smokin' Hombre chili is done, and boy does it smell good. I'm going to get this into a bowl and see how it tastes. I can smell those peppers and tomatoes. The flavor, so good. You can definitely taste the cilantro, and there's just the right amount of heat to make your tongue tingle. You make this at your next tailgate party, your friends are going to love you forever. And that leaves only one thing left to say.